You're right, YouTube. It's been right without further ado, retro. I think I'm the last of the party on this one. It's nearly, I think it's a week or 2 weeks later now. We're still haven't recovered. All that drinking and all that. But yeah, it's about time I've sort of covered the Revival 2019. Absolutely fantastic event. Really, really good. To be honest, I think to be honest, I think it's the best event I've been to. Not only the best Revival event that I've been to, retro gaming event, but the best retro gaming event in full. Like, you know, it's been absolutely amazing. So I suppose what I'll do is I'll tell you a sort of story of us going up there and everything, and how I got there, and etc. and what we did, and then I'll sort of do a shout out to all the people that were there, and so on and so forth. So it'd already been pre-arranged that Mr. Bads was going to be picking me up, and the night before, I was like a kid at Christmas. I've really been looking forward to this event, and and sod's law would have it, I really couldn't sleep. I think I must have fell asleep about 6 or 7 in the morning. I think Paul was aiming to get to me for about about 9 or 10 o'clock, 10 or 11 I think actually was the original plan. So I sort of set my alarms. I got up, I rang Paul. And unfortunately enough, Paul was running behind as well. So he sort of said, "Oh, you know, I'm going to be 2 or 3 hours yet." So I thought, "I'll sound." I tried to get an extra hour's kip in, and then sort of got myself ready. I'd already got my bags ready and everything the night before and everything. But Paul actually ended up being quite a bit later than that. I was actually getting a bit worried about Paul, because it was real torrential rain, and it was really bad, and I tried ringing him again, and he didn't answer. And I was thinking, blooming hell, that'd be it, wouldn't it? You know, first time Paul's giving me a lift, and blooming, he gets killed in a car accident or something. It's like, you know, bloody hell, I've killed Mr. Bads. But no, it was just basically the traffic was terrible. I think he said it took him like an hour or something to do 15 miles or something stupid. It was, the traffic was just horrendous, with the weather on top as well. So eventually, I think Paul got to me. I can't remember now. Was it about? I think it's about 4 or 5 o'clock-ish. So it was quite a bit later. So we set off, and we set off to go to. Basically, we're going up the night before, so we're going to our Old School Variety Faces and Binties. And see Old School Variety Face, Binty and Animal. So we sort of stopped off at the Aldi. I've picked up some bottles of champagne and some more booze. Paul picked up some booze as well, and we set off. And it was a long old trek. It's probably about 3 hours, maybe a bit longer, driving up there to Old School Variety Faces. And it was a long old trek, but it was quite a good journey. Me and Paul sort of chatting all the way, so the time seemed to go by quite quickly. We got a little bit lost here and there, sort of not first time Paul's driven there before. Me, I'm useless when it comes to directions and things like that. I'm just a passenger. I sit in a car and it takes me places. I don't pay any attention whatsoever. So we got there eventually though. So when we got there, Old School and Binty were waiting for us at the drive, ready to greet us on the way. And Animal was excited to see us. And that's the Friday night commencing. So Old School had cooked up a lovely curry, absolutely spot on. It was really, really nice. So we all sort of sat down, had a good scram. It was absolutely out of this world as well. Paul said, the curry was second to none. He said if you'd brought that out in a silver trays, he'd have believed you'd got it from an Indian restaurant. It was really, really nice. So we really enjoyed that. Then we continued to sink some beers. Exchanged a few gifts and that, and just sort of pleasantries and chatting and everything. I gave Old School a game that I've been raving on to everyone else about, called On Rush on PS4. It's really cheap now. You can pick it up for like less than a tenner. It's brand new sealed. I think I picked it up for like £8 on eBay. It's for £8. I think it's one of the best £8 you'll ever spend. It was absolutely fantastic. So we just sort of drank, and once we finished our food, we carried on drinking, playing that, chatting until the wee hours. It's absolutely fantastic. The night was brilliant. Old School, Binty, the best host you could ask for. They're just like so accommodating. Really look after you. Make sure you're welcome. You're fed. You're watered. Everything's really cool. In the morning, I think we went to bed about 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, so we left it a bit late. Went off pretty good actually to sleep. I've me electric air bed, which is self-inflates and everything. So that was cool. All went up and went out quite easy actually. I went to sleep. I suppose it was a long day really, and not being able to sleep the night before. It was pretty. You know, I was pretty knackered. So in the morning, sometime in the morning, we woke up. Old School cooked us a traditional big English breakfast, which is really nice. And we sort of went to the shop, drew some cash out, and then we set off to Revival. But it was much later in the day than we anticipated. So as we arrived at Revival, we tried to find somewhere to park up. Which there was no parking near Revival, so we had to park sort of a little bit off the way, and then walk to Revival, which wasn't too bad to be honest. And when we got there, we seen Tootie, Sydney, Steve, Rob, and that, which was great because I had stuff for each and every one of them. so I sold a game to Rob prior to the event. So that was Rob had that. That was great. Steve, we exchanged some things. We had a few deals going on amongst ourselves. So Steve's going to repair a disc drive for me on my Amiga, which is already repaired and got it going. Stu was also going to basically. I had a Palasia. No, it wasn't a Palasia. It was a Japanese Mega Drive, and someone's made it into a PAL, so it used RF, which it shouldn't do as a Japanese, and it was running 50 hertz. So Stu tried to talk me through it. Sort of my very poor knowledge on electronics and stuff, and I just made a pig's ear of it. And Stu just said, "Look, just bring it to Revival, and I'll fix it for you. I'll get it going. I'll solder it and all that, and get it back to how it should be." So I dropped that off with Stu as well. So then we went into the event, which was, there was no sort of problems with getting in or anything. It was all the queues had sort of died down because I think it was about 2 o'clock, maybe 2:30 when we arrived. It was quite a bit later than what we sort of anticipated. So everything was in full flow. So we've gone in. So we've basically gone in, and the setup is just brilliant. As soon as you go in, there's loads of there's a fighting tournament on a big sort of projection screen. They play Street Fighter and all sorts of things on that. All the sort of 8-bit and 16-bit computers and all the sort of consoles in the big room. And then we're sort of traders down one side. Quite a bit further down that side, which was a really sort of brilliant place, was Dana and Liam. Always went there, said hello to Dana and Liam. They're always great lads. Always enjoy meeting up with them boys and having a good chinwag and a few beers after the events. And obviously me and Liam are going to the boxing soon as well, so it's always good to sort of catch up. So we sort of went I didn't even realise there was another bit sort of behind that, and where they had a lot of Spectrum Next actually, where I discovered on day 2, because you always find with Revival, I always find on the Saturday it's quite hectic. This is why I like to do both days, because on the Saturday it's quite hectic. Everyone's sort of socialising. There's not really enough time to get everything you want to get done in one day, and I think a lot of people tend to go for the Saturday. But for me, the Saturday is all about socialising, bit of shopping, just basically socialising, shopping, and having a good laugh with the boys and everything. And then the Sunday is sort of more relaxed because you've been drinking the night before, you've had a mad weekend and everything. You're sort of a bit more wound down, and it's sort of good to sort of just mull about, have a look at the computers, and have a few games on a few things. And it's a more relaxed atmosphere on a Saturday. So I know a lot of people are saying that on the Sunday is more relaxed. So a lot of people saying on the Saturday they didn't have enough time to get done what they wanted to do. For me, I just go the both days. If you're going to go, you may as well go for the both days. Book yourself a hotel out like what we do, and make them absorb the whole event. It's really, really brilliant. Like I say, it's sort of two different atmospheres with 2 different days. So. So we went in there, said a few hellos to people, seen a few people about, and then you sort of go up a sort of tunnel sort of part, which is sort of like a ramp and that, and then it goes into almost like a seated area with a kitchen, another trader, and so a few arcades, and everyone was sort of socialising there, sitting there, and chatting and socialising amongst ourselves, which is really, really good. Spent most of the day in that part, and then obviously from there you have the traders hall, which got like basically mainly traders all in that, and then you got the pins at the very end, which is a really sort of good section. So about that, the blooming phone memory ran out, so I've had to clear a few files out. Yeah, so in the sort of after the sort of cafeteria area and the socialising area, when they had a few arcades as well, serving some hot food and drinks and stuff. Obviously, then you've got the sort of main trading area, I suppose. So it's got a sort of bar there and a lot of the sort of trading tables. I think there's a few machines in there as well. And that's sort of, and then there's another sort of off section where there's all the pinball machines as well. Yeah, it was really good. I think they had there was quite a bit more. I think there was more sort of stuff to buy this time. I would have said, which is a bit annoying because well, it's not annoying. It's better to have more stuff to buy. But I actually wasn't going to buy this year. I had certain things in my mind that I wanted to get. And I actually did purchase all the things that I wanted to get, but I was spending a lot less than what I normally do. Usually I sort of take ridiculous money and spend anywhere between £500 and £1,000. I didn't spend anywhere near that this year, but I did get all the sort of pieces that I was looking to buy. Unfortunately for like some of the traders, they usually see me and think, well, he got a good deal coming. He spends a lot. I actually didn't spend a lot this year. I didn't even sort of look at a lot of stuff. I only actually bought one game, and even then I didn't get a discount on that game. I tried. It was a seller, and he had some a big box of +3 games, and he had a couple that I sort of didn't have. His prices were quite high, to be honest. And he had a boxed Bubble Bobble, and I've got a disc only Bubble Bobble, and my disc is very sort of temperamental. It crashes a lot. You play a couple of levels and it crashes, and for me it's not it's not great. So I'd rather have a fully working version of that game. So basically he had that, and he had Virus. I've never seen Virus on the +3, which was quite interesting. Sort of a flying around game and all that, and it's very good on the Amiga. And I hadn't seen it before on the +3. It had Crash Smash and all that on the case, and he had £40 on both of them. So it's £80. And I said, look, we take 60 for the pair. And the guy said, no. He said, they're my games. He said, I don't really want to sell them. He said, but if I get those prices, I'll sell them. He said, I'll do 70 for the two. And like I said, I didn't really know much about Virus, so I said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you 35 for Bubble Bobble. And he said, no, if you're buying just the one, he said, it's got to be 40. I said, all right, I'll have a look round. And I sort of had a bit of a think, and I thought, I've spent, I've lost out on bids for around £40 plus on Bubble Bobble. You don't see it every day, and you're not going to see it for that or cheaper. And to be honest, so I thought about it. If I'd used my Revival membership card, saves you 10%, doesn't it? So I could have got it cheaper. But I didn't even really think, like, everything I bought, I used my bartering skills, but I didn't use, because that card gets you 10% on the stalls, doesn't it, as well? So I think it would actually save more money if I'd used the 10% on the card than my bartering skills. I just wasn't thinking, to be honest. So yeah, so I sort of had a bit of a look around, and what I was actually looking to get basically at the event is I was actually after a lot of modded stuff. So I was looking for basically a modded. I wanted to get a modded GBA, Game Boy Advance, because I love the Game Boy Advance as a system, but I don't like the sort of flip lid system. I like the original sort of set out. And I actually managed to get this one. So this one here for £90, and it's the original Mark 1 with the Mark II screen, but it actually seems a lot brighter than my Mark II screen. So let's see what game we've got in here. So yeah, if we just show you, and really these do give like the systems, because I've got loads of GBA games. So it's a great little system. It's basically like a Super Nintendo. It's actually more powerful than a Super Nintendo. In the palm of your hand. The sound is a little bit less than Super Nintendo, but it's got some great games, and with the screen from the second edition in the first edition, it just gives the games a whole new lease of life. So I don't know how well it's going to pick that up, but yeah, it's brilliant. I've been playing it loads, and really sort of enjoying the games. So it's just Final Fight there. It's a really good version as well. This sort of Final Fight on here. It's I would say this is probably the best version of Final Fight. It's between this and the Mega CD / the arcade, like, you know. So I really enjoyed the Mega CD version, but Final Fight on the go on this is absolutely brilliant. So really, really impressed with it. If I just try and get to the level, so you can sort of see what it's about. So I think you can have. So can I look here? Oh, it's just absolutely brilliant. It's just spot on. So I was really pleased. So I went to get one of these. I got one of these off. There was one guy, and he was doing all the sort of modded equipment, and I actually spent most of my money with this guy. So I bought that off of him, and I think I got $5 knocked off. Like I said, if I'd used a discount card, I bought that as well, and I also went in to buy a modded Super Nintendo, a 50-60 hertz switchable Super Nintendo. This was a bit annoying because all he had was modded Super Famicoms. Now I've just spent 30 quid on a cable for a Super Nintendo. Now Super Nintendo uses a different cable to Super Famicom, so I bought a modded Super Famicom for him. I haven't even set it up yet, to be honest. I bought another RGB cable to work on that. Because what I wanted was a one-chip Super Nintendo, which has the superior RGB picture quality. But obviously, the guy only had Super Famicoms, which a lot of people do, because I think you can pick up the Super Famicoms a lot cheaper. So I bought a Super Famicom off him, which has got the SICK chip. So you can switch it between 50-60 hertz, American, Japanese, all on sort of controller with different combinations and that. So yeah, I went to get those two, and I really sort of wanted a modded Game Boy as well. And he had a nice one on there. What he actually had, if I can plug it in. Oh, sorry, excuse the camera. Yeah, what he actually had was this one here. Which is really cool. So I like the sort of clear see-through case, and it's Game Boy Pocket as well, so it's thinner as well. Anything I didn't notice is when I got back, he did say there was a slight blemish on the screen when buying this one. He did point it out to me, and he did have normal Game Boys there with a thicker, but I like the screen on this one, and I liked that it was in this sort of neon sort of case, so it's pretty cool. And I got back and I put some batteries in it, and it wouldn't switch on. I was like, it's not switch on. It's not switch on. And what he's actually done, he's done a mod on it, and you run it off of a USB. So what I've done is I've bought a small USB battery pack with a really long lead. I'm not buying it to take it out and sort of play out and about, but I don't know if it'll pick up. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. This gives the Game Boy games a whole new lease of life, and since getting back, I don't know if you can hear that. Great game, this. I've actually smashed this the other night. I put it on, and I completed it the first time I played it. I used to really enjoy playing this as a youngster, and it's a great game. And I was happy to complete it. Don't know if it's picking up on music. It's quite quiet. A lot of these, they do amplified ones. I think Rob was saying he enjoyed the music from this. And yeah, so I really wanted to get one of these because for me the Game Boy's a great little console, but it's just unplayable nowadays without being able to see it. It really sort of spoils the experience. So I've got a couple of Game Boy Colors actually lying around here. So I basically thought, do you know what? I could sell those couple that I got at home. So I'm not going to play them. You know, you can't see them. You've got to tilt them in the light and all that. And you know, I can play them on a GBA, but I really like the sort of the orientation of an original Game Boy. So with that being thinner, with that nice case and everything, it's just superb. And like I say, I completed WWF the other night. I've been playing Final Fight on the other one, the GBA, and I've really been sort of putting some time into those games. There's some other games I have that I've got to find. I don't know where they blooming are, but yeah. So it's really sort of I'm playing a lot of the games that I've basically had for a long time. But when you try and put them on and you can't see the screen, it's just no good anymore. So, but yeah, I've been really enjoying sort of playing those games. So that was the majority of my money was those three. And like I say, Bobble, if I just show you, I've got it here. If still got a sticker on it actually, 40 quid. Yeah, so I haven't even tried this out yet. Like I've been on the handhelds and I haven't even sort of put the Super Nintendo on yet, to be honest. So, but yeah, I was pleased to get this as well. I should bloody try it out. But everything's all up in arms in without further ado studios at the moment. So right, so I think we'll go on to. So, like, basically for me, I mean, this video's not going to be a very good revival video because I'm not very good. You know, I basically just spent the whole time socialising, enjoying everyone's company, and just having a really, really good time. I didn't really sort of go there to sort of document it this year. I went there to enjoy myself and have a good time, and that's what I done. But I'll go through what I got. This was a gift from Liam and Data's store. So he gave me this because he knows that I enjoy my boxing. So it's old Muhammad Ali, greatest heavyweights. So thanks very much, Liam. I'm really, really pleased to get that. I'll give that a go at some point. And I got this off of Colin from Let's Talk Retro. He's come over to me and said, "I've got something for you." He said, "You're into your Spectrum," and he gave me this, and it's signed by Oliver Frey. Saxon or something, or something. I don't know how it's Sunston something. I don't know how it's pronounced. I'll give it a good old load and I'll have a go on it. But that was really nice of sort of Colin to. He said he bought a bundle and he only wanted one game out of it. So he gave me this, and I believe he gave Mr. Bads a game as well. It was really nice of him. He didn't have to do that, but the Let's Talk Retro guys are top lads anyway. You know, you ain't going to make a nicer pair of lads. They're really, really good guys. Here's one that Mr. Bads gave me. He told me about it before Revival. He said, "Oh, that game's quite rare on the Spectrum. You know, there's one going. You'll get on it." And I think I did put a bid on, but he must have obviously beat me and bought it for me, which is Plotting on the Spectrum at Ocean Release. I wasn't aware that it was in a glass case as well. I'd have thought it had been in a cardboard box. So this is quite a rare game on the Spectrum. And really, really nice. I wasn't expecting anything, and that was really nice to sort of receive that from Paul. Thanks very much, Paul. Like I say, Paul's an absolute legend all weekend. Without Paul, I wouldn't have been able to go. And I really enjoyed Paul's company. He's a great guy. He's he's just as he is in his videos, if not even better. Like, you know, so without, like I say, I just had a great weekend all weekend with Paul. He's a brilliant guy. Really, really nice guy. Here we go. We got game I have off Old School. I got off Old School, which is an old Spectrum game. It looks a bit of a strange one, this one, but it looks pretty cool. It's pretty funky and pretty, you know, proper, like, weird and sort of retro, isn't it? Like, you know, it's this really strange sort of box. And it'd be interesting to load this up and have a good old look. So I'll it almost looks sort of a bit Dan Dare-ish, doesn't it? But I don't know, it looks strange. So be interesting to have a go on this and see what it's about. So thanks very much, Old School, much appreciated. And this is I wasn't expecting this. I think he did ask me if I did have it before I went, which is a great a great gift as well, which is a Lotus trilogy, and this came courtesy of shoutouts UK. Really nice. You can't beat a bit of Lotus, can you, on your Amiga? So you got Lotus Esprit, Lotus Turbo Challenge, Lotus Esprit, and Lotus 3. Everything's in there. It's all complete. It's all there. Really, really chuffed. Stu didn't have to be an absolute legend, so thanks ever so much, Stu. Like I said, I had a few deals going down with Steve, Cine Steve, and we've always got something going on, me and Steve. I've given the heads up on a few games, and he sort of points me in the right direction on a couple of things. And so I didn't have this. Obviously, I'm going for a full Team 17 collection, and I don't have this one, which is a special edition. The ones I have says like 92 or 93. So I didn't have just the standard special edition. So, that's sort of very the wrong way round, isn't it? So it was really nice to get this off of Steve. I think I still owe Steve a few quid somewhere along the line, so we always sort that out amongst ourselves anyway. Steve's always good as gold and looks after me, and I try and look after him as best I can. I don't know how much I can look after him, but I can always sort of point him in the direction of a deal if I'm not on it or if I ain't got the money. So I got that, and I also picked these up off of Steve. He bought these the other week, and he was sort of a bit sort of annoyed with the condition and the way they came in, which is the Turrican and Turrican 2, but someone's chopped the boxes down and just sort of, everything's sort of folded out. But I thought they looked pretty cool, and for the price we sort of ranged on these ones, I think I've got a Turrican 2 without instructions, so this is disc and instructions. This has got disc and instructions. It completes what I've got if any bits are missing, and it's always nice to sort of have a bit of a a few spares and a few backups, so I thought those were quite nice, so I thought we've arranged to do those. So really, with Revival, it was just to me it was the best event, best Revival there's ever been. The atmosphere was absolutely spot on. It was superb. Everyone just got on so well. It was everyone's just so chilled, like-minded, and it was just superb. Everyone just got on great, We sort of enjoyed the event, sort of went back to the hotel, came to the after party afterwards, and I just thoroughly enjoyed myself. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. So here's my little list. I got me list and the sort of shout outs and everything. So first of all, we got a shout out Craig Turner and Bex and the rest of the family and the team. They really have got this down now. They've got the formula spot on. Without them, I mean, they put on a Revival as a social event, by gamers, for gamers. There's not an event that touches Revival, in my opinion. I know Craig's on about possibly having a break, or he deserves a break, but I'm hoping he doesn't, because they've got it so spot on now. I'm hoping that we'll get a mini towards the end of the year, and then another big one next year, because I really think now that all of the fine tuning is just. It is spot on. I can understand. I mean, Craig's sort of done a video on Facebook, and although I'm not on Facebook, we were made aware of the video. He sort of told about the stresses and things of putting an event on, and the cost that goes into it, and it's a phenomenal cost. And I can imagine, if you haven't sold that many tickets running up to the event, you got all your eggs in that basket, and you're thinking, everyone, even me, I left me tickets right to the last minute. And they had a lot of sort of footfall turning up at the door. And apparently it turned out to be the most successful event they've ever done. But obviously that's got to be a big stress on you. It's almost like gambling, isn't it? You put all your money on red or whatever. You're like, oh, is red going to come in? Is red going to come in? And fortunately it came in, and I believe the event paid off, and broke even or made money or whatever. We don't really sort of care about that. All we care about is we have a really good event, and we don't want it to sort of cost anyone out of their pockets, because Craig's a good guy, real community minded guy. He always listens. Obviously he's listened on all the events, and now the event is perfect. It's perfection. I think it's the best event they've ever done. Like I say, but like I can understand it would be stressful and everything. So, but he's done it. He's knocked it out of the park, and the best event I've ever been to, bar none. Honestly, like I say, I thought it would be hard to beat Generation X because that's obviously when I met Old School for the first time, Burnout Culture Mark. And it was a good event. We got actually hammered at that one and just had such a laugh. But this one was just that atmosphere. It was perfect. It was the whole day was perfect. Everyone just got on. Everyone was just so sound. The whole weekend was absolutely brilliant. So, right, carrying on with my list. So, obviously, Paul Mr. Bads. Without Paul, I wouldn't have been able to get there. I had a great weekend with Paul. Really enjoyed his company. There wasn't a moment where, we just got on, chatted all the time, and absolutely brilliant. So thanks very much, Paul. Absolutely brilliant. Pleasure to go out there with you. Absolutely superb. So thank you very much, Paul. Obviously, Old School and Binty and Animal for being the best hosts that they could possibly be. Always look after us. Always so welcoming, and always have a good laugh and a good time. So I think next would be the ambassadors, I would say, for the event. Obviously, with Tootie UK and Alex Nintendo Arcade. To be honest, without those two promoting the event, I wouldn't have known of Revival many years ago. I mean, I've been to 4 or 5, I think, now. But these guys were always sort of flying the flag for Revival, saying about it and promoting it. And just getting everyone to go along and saying, come along, come and enjoy yourself, come and say hello and everything. And now I feel like I'm part of Revival myself. Like, Craig knows who I am, and the people know me there and things like that. It's just really, really good. I could go to the play events, and apart from the people in YouTube and that, I mean, the guy who promotes play doesn't know who I am at all. So, but it's almost like a family environment in Revival, and you feel like you're part of the family. It's strange. It's hard to sort of describe, but it really do sort of make you feel welcome, and they do go above and beyond to make it the best that they can. So thanks very much to EUK and Alex Nintendo Arcade. Obviously, got to give a shout out to our kid, Burnout Culture Mark. Absolutely brilliant to catch up. We didn't really catch up as much as what we should have done, really, Mark. I know it was a bit of a blip over the weekend, but it all got sorted in the end, wasn't it? So, but I'm sure we're gonna have the Three Amigos ride again coming up soon at my yard. So we might go out live on air like we did last year. That was a hell of a time, wasn't it? So we'll be looking forward to that soon. So. And we'll keep everyone posted on that one, so it should be funny. So, I know since then my Hoover hasn't been able to stand up straight. So, right. Anyway, we can't go without mentioning Cinny Steve, absolute legend. Like I say, he always looks after me. He's such a nice guy, absolutely brilliant. And Steve actually socialised a bit more this time. The first time he didn't really he was off playing games, but this time he everyone was just in a group and just chatting, and everyone chatting amongst each other, and it was just so cool. It was just so cool. So obviously Dana and Liam, the two legends that they are. Obviously Dana's cool and Liam's just as cool. So always enjoy seeing them. Always enjoy linking up and having a few bits with them. Looking forward to Blackpool now. Like I said, I'm going to boxing with Liam and that. And it's gonna be absolutely superb. So, seen Daz, old Cojones, or formerly known as Cojones Deloro. It was really nice to see Daz. He's now got another channel. I think it's In Your Own Head. And Daz came up and he gave me a nice big hug, and it was really nice to see Daz. And it was just really cool to see, because it's a little bit sad that Daz's channel's gone, because he had some great content. He had some really good content. I've watched Daz for years. And it's just unfortunate that content is no longer there anymore. But he is on a new channel. I believe it's called In My Own Head, I think. I would put the link in, but my technical know-how is a technical don't know. But if you get a chance to go and have a look at that channel, it's sort of like the new waffleage, I would say. So, like I say, Daz has entertained us for years, and it was it was a pleasure to see Daz once again, and I shall keep on watching his new channel. So cheers, Daz. See, I'll keep watching, mate. So it's brilliant to see you, and I'll hopefully see you at future events. Steve Addy Sneaker Freak, one of our former, taking retro liberties compadres. Really good to see him. We need to get each other's details so we can communicate. I think we're going to try and bring taking retro liberties back. But I'll miss it. I really miss it. I really want to bring it back. It's so funny. I enjoyed doing it, and I think it's a bit of a ball ache to put it on, but hopefully we'll organise something and get it back. So, the infamous Rob. Rob's an absolute legend, aka Tootie's mate or Stu's mate. Rob's such a nice guy. He's so funny. Just all round funny guy. Really, really good guy. Nice solid sound geezer. Always nice to see Rob. Always nice to have a beer with Rob. Rob's just such a generous person. Such a nice bloke. Is always good, and he's so funny. He had old school in absolute stitches, so it's always good to see Rob. I'm sure we'll link up at Blackpool, if not before. So, our mate Dylan Craven. Dylan Craven was there. Always good to catch up with Dylan. Dylan is an absolute star. Like I say, he went above and beyond this weekend. There was a certain incident, and Dylan stepped up to the mark and went above and beyond in my views. I've always had a high opinion of Dylan, but my opinion of Dylan went even higher that weekend. So thanks very much, Dylan. You're an absolute legend and a star. First time ever meeting Eddie. Eddie, what a legend. I knew he's going to be a legend anyway because he's such a nice guy on his channel. But, he's in a chat of ours. We all sort of chat, and Eddie's just a really good guy. I got a feeling he was pretty drunk by the sort of end of the evening. So it was great to meet Eddie first of all, and I'm sure it's going to be the first of many. So I look forward to seeing you again, Eddie. And until the next time, I'm hoping you're going to Blackpool because we'll have some fun definitely. So Cyber Snake Jay, Jay's always there. Jay's always a lovely guy, so chilled. Such a nice geezer. No malice in him whatsoever. So knowledgeable as well. And it's always nice to hook up with Jay and see Jay and have a good old natter, Then we go on to the guys from Let's Talk Retro, James and Colin. Again, they're absolute legends, the lads. Always nice to see them at events. Usually make Revival now, and usually the Bristol Gaming Market. So I'll be seeing the guys at Bristol Gaming Market. I believe it's on September. So and hopefully they might make it to Blackpool as well. So it'd be good to link up with those guys. So they're always good lads. Pete on a retro tip. Always a gentleman. Always nice to chat to Pete. He had some nice filming equipment with him, and he was sort of showing me a few things. He's shown me some pictures that his girlfriend does with the sort of stars and the constellations. That absolutely mind blowing, breathtaking. Really, really interesting. Sort of all that sort of the pictures. And that I find that really interesting. So it's always good to see Pete. Pete's always at all the events as well. So if I don't see you before, Pete, I'll see you at Blackpool, mate, and we'll have a few beers. Minx 36, old Craig. Didn't see you about as much as I like to, mate. We usually have a good old natter and a bit of a chat and everything, a few beers and everything. So you're sort of here, there, and everywhere. I'm sure we'll hook up at Blackpool and have a few jars and all that. And so like I say, he's always a great guy, Craig. He's always brilliant. So, and his mate, I believe he came up with Daz actually. It's Craig's here again, aka Rob. No, his name's not Rob. His name is Craig. I just thought it'd be really ironic as well if his channel was called Craig's Here Again, because he always hangs around with another Craig. So Craig's Here Again, but his name's actually Rob. Some reason his name started becoming Rob this weekend for some reason, but no, it is Craig's Here Again. It's nice to actually speak to you for once in person, and hopefully we'll get to speak a bit more in the future. I know you sort of drop comments in the in me videos and all that, and it would just be like I say. So we've actually spoken in person now. I was having trouble putting a name to the face, but now I know who you are. I'll look out for you, and hopefully we'll go along to Blackpool. We'll have a good old chat and have a few beers. Retro Dave Nintendo, always a pleasure to speak to Dave. Dave's pretty cool. We had a bit of a chat this time. Had a sup, a few beers. Big Daddy Paul C. Didn't get to see Big Daddy Paul C much. Just a general sort of the old nod and the old thumbs up, or you know. But Big Daddy Paul C, he's usually at most events, and we always sort of see each other. We've never had that much of a chat. We sort of always said all right, and maybe a little bit of a chat, but never a full-on conversation, full deep conversation. But you know, I'm not sure if Craig's the Quintendo went. Yeah, I've got a feeling he did, but I'm not 100% sure. If not, I'm shouting him out anyway, because Craig's always a nice guy. Super Quintendo. If you haven't seen his channel, check it out. He's sort of into very much the same sort of things that I'm into. So he's a good guy. I just can't remember if he was there. Like I said, I had a few beers and a bit of a hazy weekend. So obviously Holster from Holster's TV, always there, sort of always getting the games, getting the bargains. He does the boot sales, and she actually got a few nice pickups at Revival. So I watched her video earlier, and impressed with that pickup. Very, very nice. So I'm envious of you. Not jealous. Jealousy's not good. Very envious. So I'd like to get a PC Engine. And you know, she's gone a bit more the whole hog with that one. So if you haven't seen it, go and check out her channel. She's got some really good footage of Revival, actually, if you want to see what the event is like. You know, not like me, just nattering on like an old idiot here, but she's actually got some footage. She always takes good footage of events and stuff. And where Holster is, usually you find Scott Glory Hunter 82. Well, they're both always searching out the bargains, or on the games, playing the games. So it's good to see Scott. Didn't really chat to Scott much. Scott's always a nice guy. I like Scott a lot. But he was sort of doing his own little thing, sort of getting a few games here and there. A guy that I haven't met before, but whenever I used to hear his name, I always used to think, so it was Scott Brand, Sega Zombie, Blue Spine from Tootie's videos. What a nice guy he is. I've never met him before. I've heard of him obviously from Tootie's videos and that, and I've actually started to watch his videos now. I saw him on Alex's video where he went round and saw his games room and his collection and everything. And he's a really nice guy. But I tell you what, when you meet him in person, he's even nicer in real person. So Scott Brand, Sega Zombie. If you haven't seen his channel, it's phenomenal. His channel. He's got some real good stuff, and he's a really nice person. It was a pleasure to meet him, and I hope to hook up with him again at some future events and have a few beers. Blackheart TV, Rudy K Diz, and I can't remember your friend's name, but I think his channel's like X Hardcore Gaming X or something. I've watched this video and I quite enjoyed it. I've watched all of your videos actually from the event. They're nice guys. I sort of said hello, had a little bit of a brief chat. And it'd be nice to sort of have a bit more of an in-depth chat with these lot. They seem pretty cool, and I hopefully hook up with them again at future events. So, but I'm sort of sub to all your channels now, so including the new one. Like I say, I think it's X Hardcore Gaming X. That might be wrong, but I've watched the video and I quite enjoyed it. So I've got some sort of quite heavy music during that video, but it was a good video. The Retro Man Cave, the guy, he was there. I always enjoy his video. The guy with the crates in the back, and he does. I've just watched his Mega PC restoration. That was very, very interesting, very informative, and nice to watch. He's a really nice guy, and a really, really good channel. So it was nice to sort of see him along there. Yeah, Jimmy Retro was there with his partner. I believe it's Sophie. I might be wrong on that. Don't shoot a message if I am. But they were both really nice people. It's the first time I've met them before. I've watched Jimmy Retro's channel before. Just really, really nice people. It's nice to sort of see them there, and hopefully catch up with them at future events. So it was nice to meet them both. Rapper Gar, I can't remember your name, Mucker, but he's always a nice guy. Always say hello to him. I think it was him and another chap, but the other guy wasn't there. The guy who plays the guy in the mask. I don't think he was there. But Rapper Gar, the guy from that channel, was there, but his mate wasn't. But he had another mate with him. It's always good to see him. He's a nice guy. Like I say, he's pretty quiet. He won't butt in a conversation and stuff. But if you engage him in conversation, he holds his own, and he'll speak to you, and you'll have a good conversation with him. It's like I say, if you haven't seen his channel, it's a bit of a weird channel name, Rapper Gar. I think it's supposed to be RPG. But yeah, he's a great channel. Check it out. Obviously, Ant Harper, big in the world of Spectrum. Also, Dainsters, mate, he's a really good guy. I've actually bought my recap Spectrum off him, a +3 and all that, so I'm enjoying that. Bought that a few events ago at Bristol, actually. Gruss Newton was there, and I didn't actually get to see Gruss, which is unfortunate. But I did hear that he was there, and I heard he had a good time. So, and the last but by no means least is Chris, CGM Retro. I did actually speak to Chris and sort of spoke to him about his Mega Drive collection and where he was sort of going with it. I think he got very close to having a complete set. I think he sold a few to sort of pay a few bills or whatever. You know, life comes along, doesn't it? Now he's sort of back to where he was almost, I think. So I think he's said he's about 5 away from a full set now. So, but I think all of his has got all manuals and everything. So it was nice to sort of have a bit of a chat with Chris. So, like I say, I can't really sort of stress enough that this year's revival was the best revival yet. It's been better than any retro gaming event that I've actually been to. Respect and credit where it is due to Craig and the team, the revival team. Absolutely brilliant. And I just fingers crossed we get a mini towards the end of the year and another big one next year. So, all right, YouTube, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.